everyone, empowering true crime Alex here. Just wanted to quickly introduce myself if you don't know me, or if you're new to the channel. My name is Alex, and I cover everything true crime, but more from an empathetic, compassionate, and empowering stance. I really want to be a voice for the voiceless, so I work a lot on sharing content around missing persons, DV and SA cases. I don't like covering little children, like death, killing, things like that. I just, as an empath, it's so hard for me to cover that. So I try to focus on things that we can work on. So I do cover, for example, young women or young people, like teenagers, people in their 20s, and women that are in marriages that have DV and things like that, just because I feel like it's a cautionary tale we can learn from and we can support each other. Feel free to type in the chat where you are in the world. I am in Florida and it is raining at the moment. So all the lights just went down and I turned on my ring light and it's really bright. And so I had to turn it down a little bit just because it's bothering me. I'll get started. And yeah, I already shared my mission, just to be a voice for the voiceless, support people that, as best as I can, and sharing those stories so that we can be more empowering and live in a more empowering world. And a quick background on me, in case you don't know me, I am I started as a communications and media expert by trade. And so I try to, in this channel, like to share information to detract or to contrary to counteract or counterbalance misinformation, and especially disinformation. And I haven't done a video on misinformation and disinformation in a while, and I think I'm going to do that on the Idaho 4 case, because I think that was a really big one where there has been some misinformation. Right, so let's get into it. What was your favorite part of the show, of Jury Duty? So for those of you who don't know, we are going to have spoilers here on in. Spoilers in the show. Jury Duty was a mockumentary style. So it took 12 jurors plus a couple of substitutes and put them into a fake documentary. And all of the participants, including not only the jurors, but the judge and the defense and the prosecuting team, everyone, the bailiffs, they're all actors except for one person who is the foreman. So if you haven't watched it yet, now's the time for you to get off and watch this again when you've actually watched the show. All right. So first thing, I would say my favorite part, type in the chat what your favorite part was. And for me, my favorite part was, what's her name? Barb. I thought she was so funny. They're all improv actors, or at least have improv training. So they had to be able to, be quick on their feet. I just thought she was so funny. Her looks, her eyes, her gazes, her comments were so on point, of, a little old lady who is, she's half asleep most of the time, disinterested. I just thought it was so funny. So I really, really enjoyed watching Barb in the show. And yeah, let me know, what was your favorite part? Did you enjoy? I know some other people said that the reveal at the end was funny. So yeah, like that was one of their favorite parts. Absolutely. So yeah, we're going to get into the reveal in just a little bit. And hopefully, yes, talk more about that. So yeah, let me know in the comments or in the chat, what was your favorite part? And I'll comment. If you're watching this afterward in the replay, I'll go ahead and I'll comment below as well and comment on your comments. And actually, it was because of the reveal that I decided to do this, because I have a whole section I want to talk about that. But yeah, the reason behind the reveal, the reason why they did the show, I thought was so empowering, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I thought it was worth it. Okay, so what did you think of the execution of the show? I mean, I thought it was absolutely brilliant how all these actors, they had their own stories. And they did have quasi-scripted scenes, but they were allowed to run with it. I did improv for many years. I took improv classes and I actually performed improv for many years. So I know it can be challenging, but it can also be really fun. You get into a role. Like the whole idea is with improv is yes and. And that's why they were so good at being serious, because instead of, with some exceptions, there were some characters, oh shoot, I think her name is Vanessa. Now I was like, I remember her as Cassandra because that's her real name, but I think her name was Vanessa. Vanessa actually was kind of like the one who was always like the no, no, no type person, like you're crazy. And then also Lonnie. So they were kind of like the you're crazy type characters, right? I love like the other people's opinions. So they were kind of like the ones that added like the almost like the devil's advocate to a lot of commentary. But one of the things with for the most part, when somebody would say something ridiculous, their improv, you know, the thing in improv is yes and, right? So you go with it. As absurd as it is, improv is about being okay with the absurdity and just running with it. And so because the other people acted like yes and, Ronald had no choice, right? Like in some cases, like you could see it in his eyes, like he would kind of roll his eyes or whatever. But so he kind of knew stuff was up, like he knew something was up, like it was not, this was not normal. But also because everyone else, it was almost like it's sort of like I don't want to say that it's gaslighting, but in a sense, like in gaslighting, when people gaslight you, they make you feel crazy because there is a narrative, there's an angle, and then they make you feel crazy. So yeah, I thought that was really funny. So yeah, I thought that the execution was done really well. Also, let's see. Let me know what you think of the execution. So well done. I can't believe they didn't crack. I mean, I they did so well. I mean, there were some comic relief moments where people did laugh. But they did it in a way like you'll see it in the behind the scenes. Remember where they said that when they were showing the video that was made, like the reenactment from the defense's side, that it was so ridiculous that like people did laugh because of because they had to. All right, so okay, with the reveal. Now we get into the reveal. What did you think of the reveal? I thought that they did it super tastefully, right? The other thing is, I had a feeling that they were kind of originally kind of making fun of him being in that position, but the reveal and how they did that part really reframed my mind, which is why I thought it turned out really empowering. And part of it was that, that they called him hero. I thought that was amazing that they referred to him as hero so that he wasn't the butt of the joke. He was the hero of the story. And I thought that was so well played, like well played. High five, whoever produces show. I thought that was really, really well done. Um, and also, here's the other thing. So I imagine that because they were part of a documentary, they probably had to sign an NDA and also a hold harmless so that so the producers weren't liable. And you're going into a documentary, so it's not like you fear for anything, right? So I imagine that they probably, like, let's say he got really upset, he could have sued them, right? So I imagine that he had to sign that they couldn't sue him. But I still thought it was smart of them to give him $100,000 because it's almost like, hey, we're giving you $100,000. This is a good thing, right? Like you won the prize. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. Huge thunder. You won the prize, right? Like you were not the butt of the joke. You were the hero. So I thought that was really, really well played. I mean, I'm thinking like they could have probably even given him $10,000 and he would have been happy. But I'm like, $10,000 you could still sue. If somebody gives you $100,000, I feel like that's pretty good. And yeah, I thought that was really, really cool that they did that. Let me know what else you thought about the reveal. Let me look at my questions here. It was called the hero. Yeah, I wrote here. I love how empowering that was. Why do you think he was chosen? Why do you think he was chosen? There was a little clip where they showed him in his audition or application. It was an audition, an application. And he just seems really humble and modest. and he like a nice guy. And I think that they chose it. They didn't want anybody who was going to be like the star of the show. They didn't want like they chose him because it's almost like he was predictable enough that he had good values and also was a really nice guy that he would run with it and not be offended by half the stuff. So I thought that was cool. Um, okay, the behind the scenes, I thought it was really interesting that they rehearsed during the show. Like they said, they took an entire day. They pretended that some people didn't get back their COVID tests, and they took an entire day to rehearse. So I thought that was really really interesting because it was kind of like and it's improv. Now again, there was a script because you could see it in the behind the scenes. They showed that there was a script, but I don't know how scripted it was. I couldn't really see that. I'm not sure if there were lines that people had to memorize or if it was more like what you do in improv is you get a like you get suggestion. So they created the scene. Everyone knows their character and everyone knows what their character would do in that situation because you're immersed in your character. And then you have a scene, right? Like either you're in trial or in the birthday party, right? Where James Marsden flipped the cake. Um, so you still have to rehearse when you improvise. You rehearse different just practicing what you would do, having team think. That's the other thing. Like there's value in rehearsing together so that the characters bond together. And so that's part of the reason why you people still rehearse even for improv. You rehearse being a team together. You rehearse working together. So I thought that was really cool. And okay, what were your critiques? Let me know in the comments. And what were your critiques of the show? I'm trying to think. What was my if I had a criticism of it? Um, I thought it was really smart that they had these like ABC scenarios, like in the case of the cake. He flipped the cake and it's like they're like if Hero gets really upset, Marsden's gonna go buy another cake and apologize, right? And that ended up happening. And so Marsden ended up buying another cake and apologizing to Hero. So I thought that was really interesting that they kind of had backups for what could happen. I thought that was really smart from a production standpoint. And so I thought that was really cool. What critiques did I have? I mean, I thought it was really well done. I thought the acting was good. I am surprised that I mean, some of the things were pretty absurd, but nothing was really that bad. Like nobody's lives were at risk. Nobody hurt themselves. Like the one guy who hurt himself in the show was a stunt man, apparently. Was a stunt double apparently. So he knew what he was doing. He was trained. He was trained in doing stunts. So that I feel like that was good. I don't know. You know what? I'll put a pin on that and go back and see what I thought about the critique because I can't think of anything at the moment of what I wrote these questions in advance, but I can't think of it. You let me know if there's anything that you if you could critique. So yeah, I guess the last question then is what is your verdict? What is your verdict? Is the show liable for laughs or not liable for laughs? So an L or an NL? What do you think? Oh, liable for sight, liable for laughs. Okay, L. I thought that whole scene, by the way, was really funny when they were doing the deliberating and they had to like pick, and then it was all not liable except for the last one that was liable. That was well played. And you look back and you say, I was like, how could that be such a coincidence? And it's like, so obviously somebody has, because the way that I see it, Ronald stood into his leadership as the foreman, but I don't think he's like a natural born leader. So if somebody else says, "Hey, I'm gonna choose that," like he's not gonna he's not a controlling person. I think that's my point. And so he's not going to be like, no, 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 let me read those, because otherwise it probably wouldn't have, it wouldn't have been liable right there at the last one, right? So it had to have been so perfect, right? Whoever was reading, and I can't remember who was tallying that up the first time and the second time. So yeah, let me know if it was liable for laughs or not liable for laughs. So liable for laughs means it was really good, it was funny, that was your verdict. If it's not liable for laughs, then you thought it was lame or stupid or not that funny or whatever. Like, and if you have that thought process, please add your critiques. I want to hear them, right? Because I didn't really know what to expect, and I ended up really really enjoying it. All right. So that's the wrap for today. Thank you for joining. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, your critiques. Let me know what else you want to see that I talk about. Should I do it? Do I need to do like a part 2? Did I miss something today? Let me know. And I can't wait to continue the conversation. If you like this video, if you enjoyed it, please hit thumbs up. My channel is growing. I really, really appreciate any engagement, likes, comments. Obviously, subscribe if you enjoy my style of covering true crime and the content that I create, and so that we can continue to spread more of this empowering light into the true crime community. Not about drama. I want to really bring in cover the drama, but from a more of an empowering standpoint, right? So that we can learn and learn and grow. All right, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Have an empowering week. Stay safe and stay thriving. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.